In most programming languages, you have to declare a function before you can call it. Basically, the idea is that code's read from top to bottom, so there's no way that we should be able to call this find average function if it hasn't even been declared yet. Like literally, how can we call find average when the function is being declared lower than when the call's happening in the code? So this shouldn't work, right? Well, actually it does. And this is because of one really quirky feature in JavaScript called hoisting. And it has to do with how JavaScript code is being interpreted. Basically, before any code is executed, all function declarations are hoisted to the top of the current scope. I know, this is weird, right? Now just to be clear, the code you write is actually not going to change. The code's still going to look exactly how you wrote it. It's just when the code is being interpreted when the function declaration is actually getting hoisted to the top. So it's still going to look the same, and this function is actually going to get called, and it's going to return back the correct value. Hoisting also happens with variable declarations. Let's take a look at this simple example. If we call the say greeting function the way it exists now, we're going to get back a reference error, and that's because the variable greeting has not been defined or declared anywhere. How can we print out greeting if it doesn't exist? To fix this error, we can declare greeting pretty much anywhere in the function, because ultimately we know that it's going to get hoisted to the top of the function scope. So for example, if I was to declare greeting on line 3, we know that ultimately when the code gets interpreted, it's going to get hoisted to the top of the function. Of course, when this code is ran, it would still look the exact same way as I wrote it, but now this time it's printing out undefined. So I guess that makes sense because we haven't really given greeting a value yet. So let's try to give it a value and then see what happens. So instead of just greeting by itself, let's assign it the greeting and the string hello. Okay, so we get undefined again. This is actually a bug because of hoisting. The variable greeting is getting hoisted to the top of the function scope, but the assignment is staying exactly where it is. Because the variable declaration is getting hoisted to the top, it gets declared here, but the value is still undefined, and then when we print it, it's giving us back undefined. So the moral of the story here is that to avoid bugs like this, JavaScript programmers usually declare functions at the top of their scripts and variables at the top of their functions. That way the code looks and the way the code behaves are consistent with each other.